What's up guys, Jared here back with another review. This time we're going to be reviewing The Nun, which is in the Conjuring universe, and I was very excited to see this movie. So put on your slippers and let's get comfortable. So one thing I will say that I like about this movie, if you've ever seen Conjuring 2, which is when the nun first appears, if you found the nun in that Conjuring 2 to be very creepy, it gives you chills and you just kind of feel like you're unsettled when you see her. If you felt that in Conjuring 2, like I did, then I think you'll enjoy this movie, because how they kind of use the nun, it's very much feels like how they used her in the second Conjuring. You don't see her that much. They use her in very particular scenes, but when she pops up on screen, it's used very effectively. So if you're like me and you got chills when you saw her on screen in the second Conjuring, I think you'll end up liking this movie a good amount, since you find the nun so creepy like I did. Another positive thing in this movie is I felt the scares were used very effectively. It's particularly in two scenes, and they both happen to be in church scenes. There's one in the first night when they stay at this place where the nun originated from. The first night when they stay there's a church scene, and it is chilling. I was sitting next to my girlfriend, and even she doesn't get scared a whole lot, but she was covering her mouth in shock. She said she was just she got so freaked out, and she was like, I couldn't move. She's like, I was just that scene just scared me. And then there's another scene towards the end of the movie with a church scene that is also very creepy. Those are the two scenes that shine the most, but I would say there's also good effective scares in this movie, and that has to do with how they use the nun in the movie, which I think really brought the scares out even more in this movie. Another thing I kind of appreciated about this movie is how they connected to the Conjuring universe. They start the movie with the connection, and then how they end it with the connection. It was interesting. I was watching and I was like, that fits perfectly. It really does. And it was just cool to kind of see how it connects to them. Unlike Annabelle, for example, they don't really tie in on how it just connects with it. So I appreciated when I was watching. I was like, that's effective. I like how they showed how the nun is connected in this universe. So that's another thing I thought worked very well. Now on to the negative sides of the movie, and the big glaring negative part in this movie is the writing. The writing is awful. It is terrible. When you get out of the nights and the scaring and you get to the daytime, it is hard to get through those daytimes. You just right when it hits day and the first line is spoken, you're just like, give me back to the scares, give me back to the nighttime. It is awful to get through those lines. And even with an actor who I think is she's pretty good in Tessa Farminguez. I'm sorry if I'm saying that last name wrong, but I think she's actually a very solid actress. And she looked terrible in this movie because of the lines she was saying. It was awful. So that right there is a big hole in this movie that is just that really brings down the movie to being not so great of a movie. Another negative part in this movie is the characters. They really do not develop their characters at all. And even with these actors that are playing these characters, there's no development with them. So really, you just end up not caring at all what the hell happens to them. And because of how bad the writing is, you're just go ahead and die. I don't care. It's just, there's no development to them, and that has a lot to do with the writing, and it all accumulates together, and it just pulls down the movie a good amount. Another negative thing about this movie is really the origin of the nun. And I know this is supposed to be an origin movie, and you feel like you don't even really get the origin of the nun. You just kind of get you get a little glimpse of it, but it's just it's in a minute, it just goes by, and you're just that's it. You feel like they should focus more on why this nun is considered like this so demonic entity, and they really just like press on by it, and you're just kind of like, really, like the little minute that they showed you was kind of interesting, but like you kind of wish they spent more time on kind of like explaining like her origin, which is kind of sad being that it's an origin movie. Overall, how I would sum up this movie is, if you find The Nun chilling and creepy, you'll find this movie to be very effective, and when it comes to the nighttime and the scares. But with all the terrible writing and the characters and then the origin, all of that together just brings down the movie so much, where it becomes just like I mean, it was okay, but if you don't find The Nun really creepy at all, you'll think this movie is terrible. And I wouldn't blame you for that, but with me, when I find The Nun very creepy, I found the scares and everything to be very effective. So I walked out of the movie being like, I mean, that was fine. I would give The Nun 2.9 out of 5. It doesn't break that fresh rating, and it's not terrible considering that I do find The Nun to be a very creepy presence in the movie and the Conjuring universe. So it ends up being an okay movie, a fine movie. So that was my review, guys, on The Nun. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Did you enjoy the movie? Did you hate the movie? Let me know what you thought. Have a good one, guys.